Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to week 38 of Books Being Sick. I am Nick. Thanks for being here. Welcome back. Bit of a break. I didn't have a YouTube video up last week. I was too sick. I apologize. I really wanted to do it, and I had set everything up, and I started recording. I just couldn't talk. I actually, quite literally could not get 3 or 4 words out without just doing a brutal smoker's cough into the microphone. So it just wasn't happening. And by the time I was feeling well enough to do it was like Wednesday, Thursday. And I was like, well, then I've got 3 days before I record Sundays. Anyway, back in action here. It has been a month of illness. I'm sure everybody has been feeling relatively the same, especially if you live up north. This is kind of the time of year where everybody just starts dropping like flies, you know what I mean? All of our friends are sick. Everybody that I know essentially is either sick, just got over being sick, or is just getting sick. It's a really fun time of the year. So you basically just gotta hope that your sickness is not too brutal, and then you're good until January, typically. So mine is now done. I'm still kind of tickly here, so I might still have a few random sort of moments, but feeling better. Look at me go. Lindsay got really, really sick. She had, I don't know what she had, but it ended up infecting her ears. And so this sounds fake, but this is a real thing. I guess there are crystals in your ears that can be dislodged. I thought that this was a made up thing, but this is real. And so that ended up happening to her, and she got this really bad vertigo. She couldn't even stand up or sit up or even move her head without just hurling. It was pretty brutal for a few days there, but she is luckily feeling better too. And so yeah, because of that, and just because of I'm at peak season with my work, burnout mode has hit for sure. This is about this time every single year is when I start feeling I need to go to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, and just go to the Titanic Museum and reset my mind, That's how I'm feeling right now. Everything's fun. Life is fun, and I really enjoy everything. It's just, you kind of hit... every single year I hit this point where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just tired of everything. So I haven't gotten a ton of reading done this month. I had a very aggressive list that I wanted to get through for September. Did not happen. However, I have read 2 books. I've got 30 pages left in East of Eden, and I'm kind of saving it for a moment when I can just really be sure that I have quietness and peace, and I'm not going to be interrupted, and I can just sit and just finish this last 30 pages, because I think East of Eden is probably one of the best reading experiences I've ever had. I think it is just almost too good. It feels weird to read a book of this caliber, because I just don't know how I'm ever going to get back to this feeling that I've had while reading this entire book. It's just I think I've mentioned this before, but going into this book, I was kind of like, oh my gosh, this is probably going to be it's going to be good, but it's going to be probably pretty pretentious and very heady. Not the case at all. The story is so fascinating and so incredible. The character development is nothing I've ever read. And the little sprinkles of life knowledge and just experience that is thrown in here is just incredible. It is just incredible. This book, East of Eden. I'm lucky I get to read this really cool copy from 1955. That, just looks super sick, right? Smells amazing too. That is the best part about reading this copy, is it's you're smelling the era, It's yeah, anyway. East of Eden, just incredible. 30 pages left. So the only 2 books I will have read this month are Wizard and Glass by Stephen King and East of Eden by Steinbeck, which I'm pretty happy about. I feel like that's a pretty killer 1-2 punch for a month. Totaling about 1,500 pages. They're both pretty long books, so, I feel good. And it's not about how much you read in a month. That doesn't matter at all. I like to give myself goals. That's the only reason that I sometimes care about it. I like to challenge myself to read as much as I can. But how much you read in a month does not matter. The quality of what you're reading in a month is what matters. So if you even read just a couple chapters of East of Eden in a month, you're having a great month, I would say. Because this book is incredible. What can I say? I'm not going to go too heavy into it until I'm finished the final finale here. But, Okay, I cleaned up my bookshelves too. I don't know if you can really tell, But I'm really going to try. This is what I do every time I'm doing videos. I take books out, and then as I'm doing this, I just kind of stack them up, and then they get all messed up. I'm going to try and not do that this time. So yeah, Wizard and Glass is the other book I finished. I believe I talked about that in the last video. Fantastic book. Really loved it. Was it my favorite Dark Tower book? I don't think it was. I think Drawing of the Three is still my favorite of the series. Will it be a top 3, though? I do believe it will. It'll be probably 3, if I had to guess, having not finished the series yet. But I have pretty high hopes for Wolves of the Calla. I think Wolves of the Calla is going to be really, really fun. So yeah, that's kind of my little brief reading update there. We are obviously going into October, and October is just spooky month, right? As it should be. So I am excited to try to dedicate my month to horror books. And I am going... Oh, you know what I got to tell you? Where's my copy, actually, before I get too heavy into it here? Where is my copy of that book? Aha! One sec. So, first up, I should tell you, before I tell you about some books I'm planning on reading in October, the Sick Book Club book has been chosen, and I'm sure a lot of you are already aware of what it is, but for those that aren't, I will share that with you. We are doing Horror Month, and I'm very excited about that. There were a lot of really sweet books, I thought, anyways, that I put onto the poll. For those that don't know how this works, every month I set up a poll of about 10 to 15 books. Everybody votes on them, and the top book moves on to be our book club's book of the month. And so, being Horror Month, I had some pretty fun ones here. For example, I had Last Days by Adam Neville, The Last House on Needless Street by Katrina Ward. I always mess up that first name when it's spelled like Catriona, but it's Katrina. I got to get that in my brain. Katrina Ward. Brother by Anya Alborn. I've really been wanting to check that one out. I hear it's super brutal, so I love that. The Wasp Factory is one that I had not heard of until I started researching this horror list, and apparently that one is really, really good. Piercing by Murakami, Imaginary Friend by Stephen Chbosky, who is the writer of Perks of Being a Wallflower. Apparently he did a spooky book that is evidently quite good, so I'm going to be looking out for that one because that's just kind of cool. Incidents Around the House is a newer one by Josh Mallerman that I've heard is great. I believe it's from the perspective of the child of the house, and so you're kind of getting everything that's happening through her eyes, and it's just super creepy. I'm looking forward to picking that one up. The Whisper Man by Alex North, Heart-Shaped Box by Joe Hill. Joe Hill is Stephen King's son, and I've heard just a fantastic writer. I've not read any of his books yet, but I did throw Heart-Shaped Box on there. The Sundown Motel, The Only Good Indians, and Hell House by Richard Matheson. So those were the books that we had to choose from. There were 3 that moved on. The 3 that moved on were Heart-Shaped Box by Joe Hill, The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones, and The Last House on Needless Street by Katrina Ward. And the book that took it and kind of crushed the competition was The Last House on Needless Street by Katrina Ward. So this is our Sick Book Club book for October. I'm real excited. to just read a horror book with everybody and to just kind of share that experience, because I think horror books just really bring people together, you know? You can be scared together and just talk about creepy things together, and it's kind of just gets you on a deeper level, and I love it so much. So looking forward to this one. So that is going to be the Sick Book Club book for October. If you're interested in joining the Sick Book Club, it is hosted through my Patreon. I'll have the link down below if you want to, but there's no press. You do whatever you want. It's your life, not mine. Okay, so other books that I'm reading in October are... I don't know... This is not an official, this is what I'm reading in October. I'm trying to still get the books together, but I do really want to dedicate the month to horror books. So here are a few of the ones that I'm thinking of reading. The first one, I gotta throw Stephen King in for October. I just have to. I purposely didn't put any Stephen King in the horror month for October because we're doing a Stephen King month for November. So November will be all Stephen King books that we're going to be voting from. But I am going to read one this month because... How can I not? It's October. So I've only got 2 here. The Dead Zone is one of them. This is an older one, a classic that I've heard fantastic things about that really holds up, apparently. That's the kind of cool thing with Stephen King books. Even the really old ones, they still really hold up, and there's a lot of relevance in the way he writes. So The Dead Zone I have not read yet, and it feels weird being such a big Stephen King fan and having not read Dead Zone. So that is pretty high up on my list to be read. And also Revival. Now, this one, just because it's one of those things where recently a lot of people have just randomly told me how much they love Revival. And so I'm like fully on board with wanting to read Revival because everybody's like, yeah, Revival's the sickest book ever. So Revival, I believe this is kind of like a Frankenstein retelling, and evidently is supposed to be really, really good as well. So those are the two Stephen King books that I'm kind of trying to decide between for October. Maybe I get to both, but I'm trying to be kind to myself because I had a brutal month. So I'm not gonna be too aggressive with my list for October. I also have The Whisper Man here by Alex North. This one just sounds really, really cool. Kind of more like detective mystery sort of thing, which I don't read a lot of, but I would like to. And to mix in some horror with it, maybe like Silence of the Lambs style, I would be very happy to experience that. So The Whisper Man is another one that's pretty high up there for wanting to be read for October. And The Only Good Indians, which was one of the finalists for the October Sick Book Club book. This is, I've just heard, is really creepy, really spooky, really good. And Stephen Graham Jones is a writer that, again, I've just heard really good things about and would love to check him out. So those are the books that I'm planning on potentially reading for October. What else can I tell you? There's this person. This is kind of more like local news that is driving us kind of insane. So I don't know if you guys know what little free libraries are. I don't know if you have that where you are. They're pretty big where I live, and basically all they are is people set up little libraries. They kind of look like little houses on a stick, that you put on your front lawn, kind of like mailbox style, but like a big mailbox. And you stock them with books, and it's kind of just for your neighborhood. They can come, take a book, leave a book, and it's really fun. There's a lot of them around where we live, and there's this person just recently that has been going around to all these little free libraries, and he's taking out all of the books and just throwing them all over the ground and all over people's gardens and under people's cars, and he's just completely emptying out the libraries and throwing the books everywhere. So that is crazy, and it's driving me crazy because I just cannot like of all the things, like little free libraries are what you're attacking. Come on, man. So, trying to figure that out. It happened again this morning. Excuse me, I knew that was going to happen. It happened again this morning, and we've had other people that have little free libraries in the neighborhood kind of walk by and be like, did this happen to you too? He's apparently hitting all the little free libraries in the neighborhood, and it's just like, of all the things to destroy, like books and people's little free libraries, it just seems so mean. But so yeah, that's local news for you. That's driving us. That's what's grinding my gears this week. Some movies that I saw that I'd love to share. Thanksgiving, which is not a new movie. Thanksgiving is a horror movie that I believe came out like 2, 3, 4 years ago. And I finally watched it the other day, and I almost turned it off after the first 15 minutes because I was like, this is so stupid. Like, this is... and it was so stupid, but it was like I couldn't tell if it was trying to be that stupid. I had a feeling that it probably was, but I was still like, I don't know if I'm in the mood for this. But I gotta say, we stuck it out and we finished it, and I actually kind of ended up loving it. It really leaned into the silliness, and there's a scene where a woman gets baked like a turkey in an oven, and that's great, and then she gets served up like a turkey to all these like people who are trapped at the table. It's just like, okay, I'm on board now. I think that's great. So if you're looking for a kind of a quirky, weird, fun horror movie, Thanksgiving was one that I really enjoyed. And also, we took the kids to see The Wild Robot, which just came out this past weekend, and it was actually fantastic. If you're looking for a kind of a family experience, movie experience, it was really, really good. I really quite liked it a lot. I think they did a pretty fantastic job. The animation was really, really cool. The story was great, very loyal to the book, and just a really good time. The kids loved it. It was just one thing I did remember though about the movie theater experience is I do remember why I like waiting a few weeks to go to see movies in the movie theater, because when you go opening day or opening weekend, oh my gosh, it is like, I don't get annoyed too easily, but oh man, like it was loud and lots of seat kicking and lots of stuff flying everywhere, and I was like, I was more like overstimulated. I was like, there's too much going on here. Like, this is insane. I gotta get out of here. But the movie was fantastic, really, really good. Excuse me. So you can check that out, and I think that's kind of all I have for my return to the weekly Books Are Sick videos here. I appreciate you guys being patient with me, and I will be back next Sunday for week 39. Man, and then we're creeping up to 1 year of doing this, which is really fun, and I appreciate you guys sticking it out with me and being here, because I do genuinely love doing these every week. It's kind of just a fun little recap of my week, so it helps keep me organized too. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will have the link to the Patreon below if you're interested in joining that. No pressure whatsoever, and I will see you guys next week. All right, thanks. Okay, bye.